let me talk about like this technique called the Feynman technique. It's basically a methodology that you can use to learn anything. So essentially, you have a very complicated concept, right, or any concept at all. If you want to learn that concept, the best way is to take a sheet of paper and basically explain that concept in the simplest of words that you possibly can without using any kind of jargon. And once you write a draft of your explanation, you go back to it and just make sure that you're really not using any jargon that could throw people off, right? If you're able to break down the entire explanation without jargon, then that's great. You've kind of understood this topic, which is fantastic. But if you haven't, well, you realize there are so many holes. And when I did this for a lot of these machine learning concepts, I saw, okay, there are things I don't know, and there are things I need to look up. There's like a lot of wood to be chopped. There's work to be done. And so I kind of I was also studying for these like for tests. Like at the time I was still in grad school. So while I was like I wanted to make these videos more as like a study guide for myself too. And so I would kind of like start writing out mathematical derivations and explanations and how I knew. And when I started uploading these, again, it was mostly to teach myself. These are like older videos, like back in those days, like 4 or 5 years old, and they became popular. But a lot of it was good traction, but a lot of it was also like, I can't understand anything you're saying, was like my comments. And I was like, you can't understand what I'm saying. And I looked at my videos again like a year later, and then I realized I'm watching my video and I'm like, I know what I'm talking about, but even I can't actually follow completely what I'm saying. And that's when it started clicking. I was like, I'm doing it all wrong. I'm not, I'm just like I'm just like kind of like talking jargon on top of jargon without completely knowing what I'm saying. And so let me actually take a step back and try to write these scripts in a way that more people can understand too, because it's not just for people, it's also for myself. If you can simply, just break these down. And so over time, if you kind of like look at my channel videos, I feel like it's a slow progress, but I've been slowly trying to get better and better at just not throwing terms on the screen, throwing jargon on the screen, and explaining jargon with jargon.